It's cold outside, but it's warm inside the MASN web studio as we warm ourselves by baseball's hot stove. Welcome into MASN All Access. I'm your host, Paul Mancano. We are now deep into the off-season, but there's no off-season for Mike Elias and the Orioles front office. Last night was the deadline for teams to tender contracts to their arbitration-eligible players. The Orioles took care of one of those players well before yesterday's deadline as they locked up Richard Villar for 2020. 5 other players will head to arbitration. We'll get on to those players in just a minute. And one of those players is headed out the door. Jonathan Villar traded yesterday to the Miami Marlins 3 days after he was placed on outright waivers. So he was essentially leaving the organization regardless. But the Orioles actually got some return for Villar. They get back left-handed pitcher Easton Lucas. Lucas had a sub-4 ERA in 12 games for short-season Single-A Batavia. He's 23 years old. He was a 14th round pick out of Pepperdine just 6 months ago. As for Jonathan Villar, he leaves the Orioles organization after a very productive 2019 season. He played all 162. He was third on the team in batting average with that .274 average, third in homers with 24, third in RBIs with 73, first in stolen bases with 40. The next closest was Richie Martin with 10. He was second in doubles with 33 and second in OPS, 792. So, very productive season for Jonathan Villar in 2019 as he heads out the door. Mike Elias spoke with reporters via conference call yesterday about the Jonathan Villar trade to the Marlins. He said, quote, "He was a tremendously exciting player for us. He's a switch hitter, he runs, he plays hard, he's a great guy, and I've personally known him for a long time, so it was hard to let him go. But we've got to keep an eye on our strategic objective, which prioritizes the future right now." Of course, Mike Elias goes back with Jonathan Villar to their days overlapping in Houston in the Astros organization. So with Villar out the door and Richard Villar taken care of, that leaves 5 Orioles players headed to arbitration. Here are those players and their projected salaries according to MLB Trade Rumors. Dylan Bundy projected to make $5.7 million. Michael Givens, $3.2. Miguel Castro, $1.2. Trey Mancini, that would be a $5.7 million projected salary. And Hanser Alberto, $1.9 million. So those 5 players will head to arbitration after Villar is out the door and Villar is under contract. So 6 months ago today, Mike Elias began his first MLB draft as general manager. And the player that he took at the top of the first round was hardly a surprise, but it was cause for celebration nonetheless. Adley Rutschman is the #1 overall pick, the catcher out of Oregon State.
The complete package, Paul. The offense and defense is there. Leadership, makeup off the charts.
It's been a whirlwind, a lot of emotion, but now it's kind of a little sigh of relief right now, so it's been good.
Mental makeup, I think, is a separator with him. He brings leadership qualities, and then the athleticism in the defense. So, it's a total package.
I'm just focusing on what's important and continuing to improve myself and how I go about my business. That's the most important thing, and I think everything else will take care of itself.
6 months ago today, Adley Rutschman became a member of the Orioles organization. He spent 2019 with 4 different baseball teams, beginning with Oregon State, then the Gulf Coast Orioles, then the Aberdeen Ironbirds, and finishing up his season with the Delmarva Shorebirds in the playoffs. In his 3 professional stops, he hit .254 with 4 homers and 26 RBIs in 37 games. He spent only 17 of those games behind the plate in pro ball, but he threw out 7 runners and allowed just 4 stolen bases in those 17 games. A great start and a bright future ahead for Adley Rutschman. From the future to the current, since before the 2018 season, Trey Mancini has taken on and full responsibilities of team leader. He was arguably the team's best player on the field in 2019, and off the field, he's become an outstanding ambassador for the franchise. This past Sunday, he took up the mantle of another great off-the-field tradition by hosting the Purple Tailgate, an event started, of course, by Adam Jones. The money raised from this one went to the Mo Strong Initiative for Mo Gabba, Trey's good friend, and the Cameron Lambert Foundation, and it was a great time.
I'm honestly so touched by how many people came out, and even with the weather. It's such a great turnout, and everybody seems to be having a good time. So I'm really happy about that, and that we could do this for Mo. Whenever you meet him, he just lights up the room, and he has such a positive attitude. And he looks great today. He's walking around, and he looks really good. So it was good to hang out with him and see that he's doing well. Adam really taught me well and showed me how to try to do things the right way, especially in the community. And I know the Purple Tailgate's been in existence for a while, and we didn't want to see it go away. And obviously I wanted to put my own little spin on it, because you can't really fill Adam's shoes. So I'm really happy to do this and keep it going.
Little rain never stopped Trey Mancini or Mo Gaba, and that was a terrific event on Sunday. Helped that the Ravens, of course, beat the Niners later that day. Winter meetings are right around the corner for us. We'll have shows next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from San Diego, California. Tough assignment, I know. We'll have interviews with Mike Elias and Brandon Hyde on set, plus reactions and analysis from MASNsports.com's Rock Kabako throughout the week, and full coverage of the Rule 5 draft next Thursday, where the Orioles are almost certain to take a player with the second overall pick in that draft. So a lot of good things to look forward to in San Diego next week with the winter meetings. And don't forget to listen to our podcast, the MASN All Access Podcast. We have split the Nationals and Orioles streams, so check out the Orioles version of the MASN All Access Podcast. On the most recent episode, we picked our top 10 Orioles games of the past decade. The 2014 ALDS Game 2, it might have made an appearance. Let us know what you think of our top 10 list. Did we miss some along the way? Be sure to listen, subscribe, like, all that good stuff on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and the MASN All Access Facebook page. That just about does it for our show. Thanks to Bobby Blanco, Amy Jennings, and Ryan Engelmeyer today. Stay warm. Get ready for winter meetings next week. We'll see you then. I'm Paul Mancano. Take care.